As the Interstellar Symposium convened on the floating platforms of Zeltron V, representatives from countless civilizations gathered under the shimmering bioluminescent canopies, an annual gathering to exchange knowledge and discuss the galaxy's pressing issues. Among the newcomers were the humans, a species that had only recently made themselves known across star systems, yet their reputation preceded them. Seated in a circle, several alien delegates quietly murmured to each other, casting furtive glances towards the human representative, Ambassador Lucas Chan. He noticed their unease but smiled cordially, adjusting the translator device at his collar. A tall, thin creature with skin like molten silver, Ambassador Ilix of the Kalis, leaned towards him. "Ambassador Chen, the stories about your people puzzle us greatly," Ilix's voice buzzed through the translator. "You are newcomers, yet you carry yourselves with a confidence that many find unsettling." Lucas chuckled softly. "It's not confidence, Ambassador Ilix, but perhaps a willingness to embrace the unknown. We humans have always been explorers at heart." Next to Ilix, a small, round-bodied Zorbian named Plix piped up. "Yes, but your explorations seem to defy the usual patterns. Your people seem to thrive in environments that would hinder most. How do you do it?" "It's all about adaptation," Lucas explained, leaning forward, his hands clasped together. "Humans learn and adjust rapidly. Our history is full of moments where we've had to adapt to survive, and perhaps that gives us a bit of an edge out here. But your methods," interjected an insectoid delegate named Skrrt from behind her multifaceted eyes, "they are not just about survival. There's a creativity to your adaptations that borders on the unpredictable. In the Tigris conflux, I heard a human managed to settle a dispute by introducing a game of chance to the negotiations." Lucas smiled at the memory. "Ah, yes. Sometimes thinking outside conventional wisdom can lead to solutions that formal diplomacy might not achieve. It's about understanding all parties and finding a common ground, even if it's unconventional." The conversation was momentarily interrupted as a server robot whirred by, offering a tray of various galactic delicacies. Lucas took a small, spiky fruit and offered some to his neighbors, who hesitantly accepted. "See, like this fruit here," Lucas continued as he carefully peeled the spiky exterior to reveal the sweet flesh inside. "It looks daunting from the outside, but once you get past the initial barriers, it's quite rewarding." Ambassador Ilix nodded, its bright eyes reflecting a mix of curiosity and caution. "And is that how we should view humanity? As a challenge to be approached with caution?" Lucas's laugh was warm and friendly. "Perhaps," he said, "but more importantly, as potential friends who might surprise you in good ways. We value our place in this community and seek to contribute positively." As the delegates digested his words along with the fruit, the initial tension eased. Conversations around them blossomed into discussions of trade, technology, and cultural exchanges. Lucas listened intently, interjecting with thoughtful comments and questions that sparked interest and admiration from his interstellar counterparts. As the meeting drew to a close, the delegates stood to leave, many pausing to shake hands with Lucas. It was clear that while humanity was still new to the galaxy, their unique perspectives and unpredictable nature were beginning to change hearts and minds, one meeting at a time. Chapter 2. First Contact. The soft hum of the interstellar cruiser Odyssey filled the air as it approached the azure planet of Viridia, famous for its vast oceans and lush, floating gardens. Captain Marcus Reed, a seasoned human diplomat, stood at the forefront of the vessel, his gaze fixed on the holographic projections of the welcoming committee that awaited them. Beside him, his chief scientist, Dr. Liu Zhang, adjusted the sensors. "We're being hailed, Marcus," he said, tapping the console to accept the transmission. On the screen, a Viridian ambassador appeared, his features a tranquil blend of humanoid and aquatic traits, reflective of his planet's dominant species. "Welcome, Earth representatives. I am Ambassador Sorrel." We are eager to learn from you and to share our knowledge as well. Marcus nodded, offering a polite smile. Thank you, Ambassador Sorrel. We come in peace and with a sincere desire to foster mutual understanding and cooperation. As the Odyssey landed smoothly on a floating platform, Marcus and Leo, along with a small delegation, disembarked. They were greeted by Sorrel and his entourage, who led them through a sprawling garden that seemed to hover over the ocean itself. Your planet is beautiful, Marcus commented, looking around in awe at the vibrant flora and fauna that seemed to coexist seamlessly with Viridian technology. Sorrel laughed lightly. And yet, we have heard tales of Earth's diverse ecosystems. It seems we have much to admire about each other's worlds. The group sat down at a round table surrounded by panoramic views of the sea. Sorrel continued, We are particularly interested in the adaptive technologies you've developed. Our environmental scientists have been struggling with a few challenges that your expertise might help overcome. Leo perked up, eager to engage. We'd be happy to share our insights. Our approach has always been to work with nature, not against it. What specific issues are you facing? Our floating gardens are beginning to sink, explained Sorrel, his tone turning somber. The bioengineered kelp that supports them is dying off. We suspect it's due to a recent increase in ocean acidity. Marcus exchanged a look with Leo, who nodded subtly. We've dealt with similar issues back on Earth, Marcus said. Perhaps we could start by examining the genetic makeup of your kelp and compare it to some acid-resistant variants we've engineered. Sorrel's eyes brightened. That would be invaluable. And of course, we would be eager to reciprocate. We've heard of your initiatives in space travel and renewable energy. Perhaps there are technologies we can share that would be beneficial for your colonies. The conversation flowed seamlessly from technical discussions to broader diplomatic gestures, outlining a potential framework for an ongoing partnership. As the meeting wrapped up, Sorrel invited the human delegates to a traditional Viridian banquet. At the banquet, cultures blended harmoniously. Marcus found himself deeply engaged in conversations about Viridian art and philosophy, while Leo exchanged ideas with other scientists. The evening ended with a performance of Viridian water music, where sounds were produced by instruments floating on the ocean's surface, creating a symphony that resonated with the gentle waves. As the night drew to a close, Marcus stood with Sorrel, overlooking the ocean illuminated by bioluminescent lights. Today has been a remarkable beginning, he said earnestly. Sorrel nodded in agreement. Indeed, Captain Reed. It seems the stories we've heard about humans barely scratch the surface of your kind's potential. We look forward to what the future holds for our joint endeavors. As they shook hands, a sense of accomplishment and anticipation for the future filled the air, marking the successful first contact that would pave the way for a prosperous relationship between humanity and the Viridians. Chapter 3. The Galactic Council. Ambassador Lucas Chen stood before the colossal assembly at the Galactic Council, an awe-inspiring chamber that held the representatives of hundreds of civilizations. His mission was clear: to present humanity's rapid ascent in galactic society not as a threat, but as a potential boon for all. Beside him, his aide and fellow diplomat, Jonas Weaver, shuffled through notes and datapads, preparing for any questions that might come their way. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation and a mild tension that always accompanied the introduction of a new member to the council. As Lucas approached the podium, a hush fell over the vast audience. "Honored delegates," he began, his voice echoing through the chamber, "I stand here not only as a representative of Earth, but as an advocate for cooperation and shared prosperity across our galaxy. A Muridian delegate, known for their meticulous scrutiny of new members, stood up. Ambassador Chen, while your words paint a picture of harmony, there are concerns about the pace of human expansion and acquisition of technology. How do you address these concerns?" Lucas smiled, understanding the fear behind the question. Thank you for your question. It's true, humanity has made significant leaps in technology and exploration. However, our philosophy is guided by a principle of responsible advancement and transparent sharing of any breakthroughs that can benefit all civilizations. Jonas handed Lucas a tablet, displaying charts and agreements. As evidence, I present our open patents and collaborative projects that are already benefiting partners across sectors and species. Another delegate, from the aquatic planet of Hydrones, chimed in. But what of your diplomatic strategies? There are whispers of humans outmaneuvering other races in negotiations. Lucas nodded to Jonas, who quickly projected images of various diplomatic meetings and treaties. Our strategies are built on the foundations of mutual respect and equality. Each treaty shown here was crafted not in the spirit of gaining the upper hand, but to ensure all parties benefit equally. Our approach is to find common ground, celebrate our differences, and leverage them for mutual growth. The discussion shifted as a Zenobian delegate, a species renowned for their cultural contributions, raised a point. While politics and technology are critical, what of cultural exchanges? How does humanity plan to integrate with the broader cultural tapestry of the galaxy? Jonas, whose background in intercultural relations was robust, took the lead. An excellent point. We are already participating in interstellar art and cultural festivals, and have proposed the establishment of a cultural exchange program, which includes academic and artistic residencies. The council murmured in approval, the atmosphere warming slightly. Lucas took the opportunity to invite the delegates to an upcoming human-hosted symposium on Earth, designed to showcase human culture, art, and culinary delights. As the session drew to a close, Lucas and Jonas met with smaller groups of delegates, answering more detailed questions and sharing insights into human life, further dispelling fears and building trust. Later, as they walked through the corridors of the council's headquarters, Lucas reflected on the day's events. Jonas, do you think we managed to change some minds today? Jonas nodded, looking optimistic. I believe so. It's about persistence and patience. Today we laid down another layer of trust. It's slow but steady progress. As they departed from the council, both men felt a cautious optimism. Their presentations and discussions had perhaps not dispelled all fears, but they had certainly opened doors that had previously been closed to humanity. The journey was just beginning, but it was headed in the right direction. Chapter 4. The Mind Games. On the planet Thera, a lush world known for its intellectual games and puzzles, the human envoy, Dr. Ethan Hunt, attended the renowned Cognitive Olympics, an event where species from across the galaxy competed in tests of logic, strategy, and mental agility. Accompanying him was his colleague, Professor Alan Morris, an expert in xenopsychology. As they approached the grand pavilion, Ethan glanced at Alan, sensing his excitement. You think we're ready for this, Alan? These games are unlike anything we've faced. Alan chuckled softly. It's not just about winning, Ethan. It's about understanding how other species think, how they solve problems. It's a rare opportunity to learn. Inside the pavilion, the air buzzed with anticipation. Species of all forms and sizes prepared at their designated stations. Ethan and Alan were guided to their seats, equipped with interfaces adapted for human interaction. The first challenge was presented by the host, a Thera native known for his enigmatic presence. Welcome, contestants. Today's first puzzle involves cryptic linguistics. Decode the message using the clues provided by the interface. Ethan and Alan bent over their console, working together to decipher symbols that morphed and changed meanings. Around them, competitors whispered and tapped on their devices, each trying to crack the code in their unique ways. As they progressed, Ethan marveled at the complexity. These aren't just random puzzles, Alan. They're designed to make us think beyond human linguistics. Alan nodded, his eyes sparkling with intrigue. Exactly. See how the Sildrothi are using their pheromonal cues to suggest syntax changes? Fascinating. Hours passed, and the challenges grew more intricate, ranging from quantum chess to three-dimensional logic mazes. Despite the intensity, Ethan and Alan found themselves enjoying the intellectual rigor. During a short break, they mingled with other participants. Ethan struck up a conversation with a Sildrothi contestant. "I noticed your strategy in the syntax puzzle. It's very different from anything we use." The Sildrothi, named Thren, tilted his head, his antennae twitching in interest. "And I observed your approach. You rely heavily on visual data and empirical rules. It's quite effective but rigid. Have you tried incorporating more intuitive leaps in your reasoning?" Ethan exchanged a look with Alan, who was discussing neural pattern games with a delegate from Vortexia. "Perhaps we should consider it. Our methods are based on our brain's wiring, but there's always room to expand, to blend our techniques with others." As the final round approached, the task was a cooperative puzzle requiring teams from different species to work together. Ethan and Alan teamed up with Thren and a Vortexian named Lyra. Together, they tackled a complex simulation that involved stabilizing a collapsing star system using a mix of physics, intuition, and strategic resource allocation. The challenge forced them to integrate their ways of thinking, blending rigid human algorithms with the fluid intuition of their partners. As they successfully stabilized the simulation, applause erupted around the pavilion. Though it was just a game, the implications were profound. After the competition, as they gathered their belongings, Alan turned to Ethan. "Today was more than just mental exercise. We've started building a bridge, Ethan, a bridge of understanding and mutual respect." Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "Let's hope our newfound friends think so too." As they left the pavilion, their minds buzzing with ideas and possibilities, it was clear that the Cognitive Olympics had provided them with more than just a challenge. It had opened a doorway to a deeper collaboration and a better understanding of the diverse minds that populated the galaxy. Chapter 5. The Power of Unpredictability. In the bustling starport of the Nexus Station, a key trade hub that connected several major trade routes across the galaxy, Ambassador Lucas Chen was preparing for what could be one of his most critical meetings yet. Accompanied by his economic advisor, Derek Forster, they were to negotiate trade terms with a delegation from the mining consortium of Rigel 4, notorious for their hard bargaining. As they walked through the crowded promenade, Lucas turned to Derek with a focused expression. "These negotiations won't be easy. The Rigelians are tough, and they'll push hard for terms that favor them heavily." Derek nodded, pulling up data on his handheld device. "I've reviewed their past agreements. They rely on their monopoly over ceruleum crystals. Our goal should be to loosen that grip, find an angle they haven't anticipated." Lucas smirked. "That's why I'm thinking of throwing them a curveball today. Let's not play their game by their rules." In the negotiation room, the Rigelian delegates greeted them with polite nods, their expressions unreadable. The lead delegate, a stern-faced individual named Garx, wasted no time. "We are aware of humanity's need for ceruleum. Our terms are clear and non-negotiable." Lucas leaned back, projecting calm. "Actually, we'd like to discuss broader cooperation beyond just ceruleum. Earth has resources and technologies that could benefit your mining operations. We believe a partnership rather than a straightforward vendor-client relationship could be more beneficial." The Rigelians paused, visibly taken aback. This was not the discussion they had prepared for. Garx exchanged a look with his aide, a sign of uncertainty. "What sort of partnership are you suggesting?" Derek chimed in, presenting a holographic model of an advanced mining drill that used less energy but increased output. This is just one example. We're also prepared to offer training and support in deploying this technology across your mines. The Rigelians huddled together, whispering in their native tongue. Lucas and Derek waited, knowing that the seeds of doubt had been planted. The Rigelians were experts in extraction, but upgrading their technology was a persistent challenge for them. Finally, Garx turned back to them. This technology could indeed revolutionize our operations. What are your terms? Lucas exchanged a swift glance with Derek, then responded. In exchange for the technology and training, we want more favorable terms on cerulean pricing, but we also want a joint research initiative into new mining territories. Garx frowned, contemplating the offer. And if the research doesn't yield new deposits? We share the risk, Derek quickly added. No fruitful results, no obligations from either side concerning the new territories. But if successful, we split the profits and continue our collaboration. The Rigelians retreated into another private discussion. Lucas leaned over to Derek, whispering, "We've got them off balance. Let's see if they bite." After a tense few minutes, Garx returned with a slow nod. "We are willing to explore this proposal further. It's unconventional, but promising." As they wrapped up the preliminary meeting with plans for more detailed discussions, Lucas and Derek walked back through the Nexus station. "Well played today, Derek. Thinking outside the standard negotiation playbook has given us a real edge." Derek smiled, his earlier nervousness replaced by confidence. "It's all about unpredictability, isn't it? They never saw it coming." Lucas chuckled. "Exactly. In a galaxy that expects predictable moves, being human gives us the unique advantage of creativity and surprise. Let's keep them guessing." Their conversation was light, the mood optimistic as they discussed the next steps. Today had not just been a victory in terms of the negotiation, but had also reinforced their strategy of leveraging human ingenuity to navigate the complex waters of interstellar diplomacy. Chapter 6. The Fear Spreads. Word of humanity's unique approach to diplomacy and problem-solving began to ripple through the galactic community, reaching even the remote and isolated systems. Captain Nathaniel Nate Brooks, along with his communications officer, Sam Jenkins, were dispatched to the distant and enigmatic world of Vortex Prime to attend a crucial summit. The objective was clear: to manage the growing apprehension about human capabilities and to foster a sense of partnership with the other species. As their ship descended into Vortex Prime's orbit, Nate reviewed the mission brief. "Sam, the key here is transparency. We need to be open about our intentions and capabilities. The fear of the unknown is what we're fighting against." Sam nodded, adjusting the frequency on his communicator to match the Vortexian channels. "I've set up preliminary meetings with their council. They're curious but cautious. Their last encounter with another species didn't end well, so they're on edge." The landing was smooth, and they were greeted by a delegation led by Councillor Trek, a tall, slender Vortexian with a stern demeanor. "Welcome to Vortex Prime, Captain Brooks, Officer Jenkins. We are aware of your recent achievements." Nate extended a hand, which Trek hesitated before accepting. "Thank you, Counselor. We come in peace and hope to build a relationship based on mutual respect and understanding." As they were escorted to the council chambers, Sam leaned in. "They're tense, Nate. I can feel it. The whole planet is buzzing with whispers about what humans are capable of." Nate kept his voice low. "Let's focus on dispelling myths and building trust. Our actions will speak louder than rumors." In the council chamber, a semicircle of Vortexian officials awaited them. Nate began the meeting with a candid presentation of human history, emphasizing the lessons learned from their own planet's past conflicts and the benefits of cooperation. Counselor Trek listened intently, his expression unreadable. Your history is marked by both conflict and remarkable recovery. How do we know which aspect of humanity will prevail in your dealings with us? Nate replied thoughtfully, "It's a fair question, Counselor. We've learned the hard way that progress built on conflict is unsustainable. Our goal is to create lasting peace and prosperity, shared with all who join us in this journey." The discussion turned to technology sharing, with Sam detailing the technologies that Earth could offer, emphasizing their potential to enhance Vortexian agriculture, which had been struggling due to soil depletion. Counselor Trek pondered the offer. "And in return, you ask for?" "Only knowledge, Counselor," Sam interjected. "Your expertise in astrophysics is renowned. We seek a partnership that would be beneficial for both sides, a true exchange of knowledge without hidden agendas." The counselors whispered among themselves, their tones gradually shifting from suspicion to consideration. Trek finally nodded. "Your proposal is unconventional. We will need time to deliberate." As Nate and Sam prepared to leave, Nate offered a parting gift, a small device containing a vast digital library of human art and literature. "A token of our goodwill. We hope it gives you a better understanding of who we are, beyond what you've heard." Back aboard their ship, Nate and Sam debriefed the day's events. "I think we made some headway," Nate mused, watching the stars beyond. "But the real work begins now, showing them that the fear they hold is unfounded." Sam nodded in agreement. "Yeah, it's about changing perceptions, one meeting at a time." As they charted a course back home, both men understood that the path to galactic acceptance would be long and fraught with challenges. However, today had been a good start, and with each successful engagement, humanity would continue to reshape its image from a feared newcomer to a valued ally. Chapter 7. The Ambassador. Ambassador Lucas Chen was once again on the move, this time heading to the crystalline planet of Selenes, known for its reflective surfaces and transparent diplomacy. Alongside him was Dr. Julian Baxter, an expert in alien physiology, invited to discuss potential healthcare collaborations. Their mission was to solidify a new alliance that would showcase the best of human ingenuity and compassion. As their shuttle approached the gleaming towers of Selenes, Lucas reviewed their strategy. "Julian, our main goal here is to build a bridge using our medical advancements. Selenians are incredibly open about everything. Let's use that to our advantage." Julian nodded, adjusting his translator device. "Transparency works both ways, Lucas. They'll appreciate our straightforward approach, especially in healthcare." They were greeted warmly by Ambassador Tellerer, a Selenian known for his work in galactic peace initiatives. "Welcome, Lucas. Julian. We've heard much about your recent endeavors. There's a lot we can learn from each other." The trio walked through the bustling city center towards the Council Dome, an impressive structure made entirely of transparent material, symbolizing the Selenian commitment to openness. Inside, they were introduced to various council members, each eager to hear about human medical technology. Lucas began the session with a brief but detailed presentation on human advancements in medical biotechnology, emphasizing non-invasive surgery techniques and regenerative medicine. "Our approach could be adapted to Selenian physiology with some joint research and development." Council member Virek, a specialist in health policy, was particularly interested. "The concept of regenerative medicine is intriguing. Our methods are effective but old. How quickly can new techniques be integrated?" Julian stepped forward, ready with data and projections. "With collaborative training and adaptation to your specific needs, I believe we can see initial results within a year." The conversation deepened, with Julian discussing case studies and hypothetical applications. The Selenians, with their natural inclination towards scientific curiosity, asked insightful questions that Julian answered with clarity and enthusiasm. As the meeting adjourned, Tellerer invited Lucas and Julian to a cultural exhibit, hoping to provide them with a deeper understanding of Selenian life. The exhibit was a blend of art and science, demonstrating how Selenians use technology to enhance their daily lives. "Your culture is fascinating," Lucas remarked, examining a sculpture that doubled as a functional environmental sensor. "There's a harmony here between technology and art that's quite unique." Tellerer smiled, his eyes reflecting the colorful lights of the exhibit. "We find beauty in functionality. And now, with your help, we can add health to that beauty." Later, over a meal of local delicacies, Tellerer brought up a potential exchange program for medical students and professionals. "We'd like to send a group to Earth to learn more about your practices. In return, we could host seminars here on Selenian methods." Lucas was pleased. "That sounds like a perfect way to deepen our relationship. Mutual learning is the cornerstone of true partnership." As the evening concluded, Lucas and Julian felt a sense of accomplishment. They had not only introduced their technology, but had engaged in a genuine cultural exchange, learning as much as they taught. Back on their shuttle, Lucas looked out at the stars. "Today was a good day, Julian." Julian agreed, his thoughts on the future. "It's the start of something bigger, Lucas. These connections we're making, they're going to change things for everyone." Both men knew that with each successful mission, they were helping to weave humanity into the vast tapestry of galactic civilizations, not as a power to be feared, but as a valuable ally and friend. Chapter 8. The Legacy of Fear. The human delegation, led by Ambassador Lucas Chen, gathered for a pivotal summit on the neutral world of Midari, a planet chosen for its historical role as a mediator in interstellar disputes. Alongside Lucas was his diplomatic advisor, Michael Stanton, who had been instrumental in arranging the summit. Their aim was to discuss the establishment of a new galactic treaty that would ensure the peaceful coexistence and collaboration of multiple species. As they walked towards the Grand Assembly Hall, Michael reviewed the agenda with Lucas. "We've got representatives from over 30 systems today. The goal is to cement humanity's role as a positive force in the galaxy." Lucas nodded, his mind on the discussions ahead. "We need to be clear about our intentions. It's about dispelling fears, building trust. We're not just here to defend humanity, but to advocate for a unified galactic community." The hall buzzed with a myriad of languages and the rustle of beings from different worlds. Lucas and Michael took their places at the front, greeting each delegate as they arrived. The diversity in the room was a testament to the galaxy's complexity and potential. When the meeting commenced, Lucas stood to address the assembly. His voice was calm yet compelling. "Esteemed delegates, we gather here on Midari to discuss not just the future of humanity, but the future of all our civilizations. The fear that once defined our interactions should give way to cooperation." A Zeltronian delegate, Ambassador Yara, raised a point. "Humanity's rise has been meteoric. How do we know this treaty will not just facilitate further human dominance?" Michael stepped forward, addressing the concern. "Ambassador Yara, that's a valid concern. Let me assure you, the treaty we propose today is designed with checks and balances. It's about creating a framework where all voices are heard, and no single species, including humans, can dominate." The debate that followed was intense, with various leaders expressing their concerns and hopes. Lucas and Michael navigated the discussions with a mix of firm assurances and open-ended questions, steering the conversation towards common goals and shared benefits. As the hours passed, a draft of the treaty began to take shape, incorporating suggestions from multiple worlds. It focused on technology sharing, joint security measures, and cultural exchanges, all underpinned by a legal framework that ensured equitable treatment for all parties. At the end of the day, as the final session closed, a vote was taken. The treaty was approved with an overwhelming majority, a significant milestone marking a new era of interstellar relations. After the summit, Lucas and Michael debriefed in a quiet garden on Midari. "Do you think we've done enough today?" Lucas asked, watching a pair of Midari's native birds soar against the sunset. Michael considered the question. "We've started something important, Lucas. There will always be fears, always be doubts, but what we did today goes a long way toward easing those fears." Lucas smiled, a sense of weary satisfaction settling over him. "We've laid down the groundwork. Now, it's up to all of us to build on it, to prove that fear doesn't have to be the legacy of this galaxy." As they left Midari, heading back to Earth, both men were contemplative, aware of the challenges ahead, but also hopeful. They had achieved a significant victory, not just for humanity, but for all species willing to embrace a future defined by unity rather than fear. The legacy of fear was giving way to a new legacy, a legacy of partnership and mutual respect, heralding a new chapter for the galaxy.